Dear students, welcome you all. In the last class, we have discussed in detail about the rheology of melt spinning line. So there we have seen in detail about what is the importance of measuring the flowing behavior of knowing the flowing behavior of polymeric fluids. So when we are passing the polymeric fluids in different elements of the melt spinning line, Understand? So today's class we are going to discuss in detail about the importance of drawing in melt spun yarns. Okay. So the contents in this today's presentation is the drawing behavior of thermoplastic polymer and drawing condition phenomenon of necking, that is what is the phenomenon of neck and how it is forming, and what are the various structure and property related parameters that are affected in the continuous filament of yarn after the drawing process. So these are the contents in today's presentation. Okay, now if you look at this drawing, as we have already discussed in the previous classes, so when we were discussing about this important operations in the production of synthetic fibers, there we have seen in detail what is this post spinning operation, and there we have discussed what is the importance of drawing or stretching. So what we have discussed there, the drawing is nothing but where once soon after the filaments that are coming out from the spinneret, we are stretching it. So why we are doing this stretching? Where while doing this stretching, the properties are the molecular chains are going to orient into the axis of the yarn or axis of the filament. So which gives increase in strength and increase in strength of the filament, or it increases the crystallization rate of the filament. So that is the main purpose of doing this drawing process. So where whatever the filaments we have produced, that is after coming out from the quenching chamber, we are doing this drawing process. Understand? So without doing drawing, if you send the filament as such, where the filaments where it doesn't meet the end use applications of where these yarns are subjecting to. So that's why where this drawing is a very, very important post spinning operation. So it has to be done at required draw ratios. Understand? The drawing, or it can also called as orientation stretching process. That means stretching we are doing which leads to orientation. That is arrangement of molecules in a orderly manner. Understand? So the drawing or orientational stretching process is a vital post spinning operation for a melt spun filament or fiber. So without doing this stretching process, where the filament doesn't have good orientation in it, and thereby we cannot produce good quality or good expected properties in the final filaments. Understand? So an undrawn fiber, that means a fiber or a filament which is not drawn, deforms inelastically under low loads and has poor stress values. That means if you take the filament as such from the quenching without doing this drawing, if you apply some minimum loads itself, under a low loads itself, where it will break easily and it deforms inelastically. Okay, such a material has very little utility for most of the textile applications. We cannot use these filaments for most of the textile applications once drawing is not done. So that's why the drawing operation is very, very important post spinning operations. One should understand its importance. Okay, so through the drawing operation, the fiber is orientationally strengthened. That means, or how this orientation is coming, that is due to alignment of molecular chains along the fiber axis. Along the fiber axis and shows enhanced recovery. So whatever this orientation, that is the orientation which is improving during this drawing process, that is because of the alignment of molecular chains in the filament axis. Understand? So because of that alignment only, where the orientation is improving, thereby the strength of polymer and chemical resistance, all other properties are improving. Okay, so the drawing also induces changes in the levels of crystallinity. So if orientation is taking place in a good manner or high degree of orientation, it results in more crystalline the polymer is. That means very highly compact regions. Highly compact regions. Understand? So now you can see in this diagram clearly where the first three images, if you observe, you just observe it from right to left. That is, you just follow that arrow mark. Where in the first image you can see that is a filament, that is which is just coming out from the spinneret, that is spinneret hole, where the molecular chains inside the filament, that is inside the polymer, is arranged randomly. So when it is taken forward, through this drawing process, you can see where the molecular chains in the second image and third image, you see, if you observe, the molecular chains are arranged parallel to the n-axis, more or less parallel to the n-axis. Thereby this orientation is improving. And even if you look at the bottom two images also, where if you look at from top to bottom, that is top to bottom, where in the top side you can see the arrangement of molecules. So how orderly the molecules are arranged. That means there is no such proper order. That is, it has arranged randomly. In that state where the filaments are not having adequate properties, that is adequate orientation. So whenever you are doing drawing process, obviously if you observe just below that, the first image, that is bottom first image, where due to stretching what is happening, where the diameter also it is decreasing. So finally where the molecular chains are aligned parallel to the filament axis. Understand? So this is how the molecular chains that are oriented well depending upon the draw ratio we are maintaining. So what do you mean by draw ratio? Say for example 1:3, that means 1 centimeter of filament you are taking, then you are extending up to 3 centimeters. That is called as the draw ratio 1:3. And this draw ratio is going to be decided by feed roller speed, that is circumference of feed roller, and then drawing roller speeds. So I will show you that draw twisting unit where you can understand it clearly. Okay, so from this image you can understand what is the initial state of molecular chains soon after the filaments that is coming out from the spinneret, and in what way the molecular chains are arranged. The molecular chains are arranged in the final filament after the drawing process. So this is what you need to understand from the drawing concept. Okay, so whatever, either it may be amorphous polymer or amorphous fiber or semi-crystalline fiber, where whatever the that is semi-crystalline fibers or amorphous fiber which is having entangled network of molecular chains, where that has been transformed into fibrillar structure through process of drawing. So I hope you might have gone through this fibrillar structure and lamellar in the previous semester. Okay, so an increase in the draw ratios increases the orientation order as well as conformational conversions. Okay, so depending upon how well you are increasing, what extent you are increasing your draw ratio, depending upon that the orientation also that is improving. So which results in structure which has much higher strength, obviously, and modulus, that is modulus in the sense stiffness, and dimensional stability compared to its undrawn state. So once the drawing is completed, and if you are getting your expected orientation levels, where the final filament which attains higher strength and modulus, and then dimensionally it is more stable than the undrawn state of filament. Undrawn state of filament. Okay, so the extent to which a fiber can be drawn is dependent on the spinning speeds employed in the extrusion of the fiber, obviously. So whatever the draw ratios we are importing, so it is depending on the spinning speeds. And it is well known that if you increase the spinning speeds, where the orientation of molecular chains along the fiber axis also increases. So suppose if you are going at 1500 meters per minute spinning speeds or 2000 meters per minute spinning speeds, where you have to make a separate drawing arrangement to improve the orientations. Suppose if you go with this high speed spinning concepts, where if you are going at higher than, that is more than 4000 or 5000 or 6000 meters per minute spinning speeds, obviously where you don't need separate drawing process. Why? Because the spinning speeds, increase in spinning speeds increases the orientation of molecular chains along the ion axis. So as a consequence of which the residual draw ratio of fiber reduces. That is, the stretching of filament is reduces with the increase in spinning speeds. Okay, with the increase in spinning speeds. Now you can see in this image, in this graph, you can understand the concept very clearly. So in the x-axis you have spinning speeds, and in the y-axis you have residual draw ratios. So if you are increasing your spinning speeds from 1000, 2000 and 3000, where, so what is happening? The residual draw ratios are decreasing. Understand? Residual draw ratios are decreasing. Okay. And the same thing again, that is the relation of spinning speeds and then drawing. Okay. So whatever the fibers we are spinning above 6000 meters per minute, where we are getting a fully oriented yarns or fully drawn yarns, can be directly without the need for drawing process for some special end uses. That means where the spinning is carried out above the 6000 meters per minute, where we call it as the yarn, we call it as fully oriented yarns or fully drawn yarns, which doesn't require the drawing process. While in case of the high spinning speeds between 4000 to 6000 meters per minute, which results in highly oriented yarns, where the drawing operation is generally integrated in spinning. There is no separate drawing chamber or drawing process. It is integrated in the spinning itself. Okay. And when it comes to medium speed yarns, where the filaments achieved at these speeds, we call it as partially oriented yarns. So here the spinning speeds are in the range of 1500 to 4000 meters per minute. 4000 meters per minute. But here it needs a separate spinning, that is drawing phenomenon or drawing process. Either draw twisted or draw texturized or drawing operation is integrated with the spinning. And finally, yarns with low spinning speeds, that is LOY, low oriented yarns. So where the spinning speeds are between 500 to 1500 meters per minute are generally drawing and then twisting and then winding on to bobbins. Understand? So this is the this is the influence of spinning speed and then the necessity of drawing process. Okay. Now, whatever the conditions under which drawing takes place are of paramount importance, and the properties and end uses of drawn yarns. Okay. So even the small changes in the drawing parameters can often have significant influence on the characteristics of drawn yarns. So that's why, depending upon what parameters or what qualities you are expecting in the final filament, where we have to set our drawing parameters, or we have to go at a required spinning speeds. So when there is a small change in this drawing parameters, it results in the characteristics of final drawn filaments. Understand? So this is about the what exactly this drawing is. So till now we have discussed what is this drawing process, and what is the importance of this drawing for this melt spun filaments, and in what way we are carrying out this. Okay, now if you look at here, so this is the draw twisting unit. That means drawing followed by twisting and then winding onto bobbins. That's why it is said to be draw twisting unit. Okay, so this draw twisting unit is required for this low oriented yarns, that is spinning speeds in between 500 to 1500 and then 1500 to 3000, that is partially oriented yarns. So from the bobbin, that is what we call it as, this is the undrawn yarn, that is which is not drawn, and then that undrawn yarn we are passing through different elements in this draw twisting units. So here we have whatever the yarn which we are producing after the spin finish. There in the melt spinning we have winded onto bobbins. And then that bobbins we are taking to this draw twisting unit to impart the required amount of drawing. Understand? So when it comes to highly oriented yarn or fully oriented yarn, fully drawn yarns, where the drawing is integrated in the spinning itself, whereas in case of partially oriented yarn or low oriented yarns, where it needs this draw twisting unit to impart the twist, that is drawing and then twisting. So you can see here, this is the undrawn yarn we are taking out, and this 2 is nothing but the feed rollers, and 3 is nothing but the snubbing pin, and 4th one is heat setting, and 5th one is this is nothing but the draw rollers, and finally it is guided onto bobbins, that is winding onto ring holders, that is ring bobbins. Understand? So whatever the twist which is there, that is we are applying a nominal twist. You just hold all the filaments together, that's it. It's a very, very nominal twist we are applying, that is 8 to 15 turns per meter is inserted in the yarn during the course of winding. And if you look at this drawing unit, very, very important operation, where it consists of 2 main rollers. One is feed roller and second one is the drawing rollers. Understand? So which have different circumferential speeds, that is the diameter variation, where we have these changes in the circumferential speeds or surface speeds. Okay, so the ratio of which, that is the speeds ratios of which, it determines the machine's draw ratio. Okay, and in between this feed roller, that is you can see here, second is the feed roller, 2 is the feed roller, and 5 is the drawing rollers. In between these two we have an element called snubbing pin. So it is having very, very important role here. So why? Because so from the drawing rollers, where some amount of stretch, some amount of tension that will transmit up to the feed roller delivery. Understand? So whatever this snubbing pin which we have incorporated near to this feed roller, it will stabilizes the deformation or necking point and also acts as a tension barrier, so that the full drawing tension is not transmitted to the feed roller delivery or feed roller nip. So if the complete drawing tension is transferred from this draw rollers to the feed roller nip, what will happen? Where we can expect number of breakages, yarn breakages. So to avoid that, where we are having this snubbing pin, so just below the feed rollers. So it stabilizes the deformation or the necking point. I'll tell you what is that necking point in detail in the upcoming slides. Okay. So it stabilizes the deformation and also deformation of filaments, and also acts as a tension barrier. It will not allow the complete tension which is coming out from the drawing rollers to the feed roller nip. Okay, so when it comes to this nylon, generally it is drawn at room temperature. When it comes to polyester, it needs to be drawn at a temperature around 90 degrees Celsius. That is just above the glass transition temperature of polyester. So that's why that fourth one you can see heater plates. Heater plates. That means it helps for stabilizing, that is dimensional stability of the filaments. Okay, so till now we have discussed in detail about what is this drawing concept and why this drawing is required for this continuous length of filaments, that is which is coming out from melt spun yarn, and what kind of changes that are taking place in the filament structure so while doing this drawing process. And also we have seen the relation between drawing and then spinning speeds, and we have seen different yarns like highly oriented yarn and fully oriented yarn, highly oriented yarns and partially oriented yarns and low oriented yarns. So depending upon spinning speeds, we are getting orientation in the yarns. So when it comes to fully oriented and highly oriented yarns, it doesn't need a separate draw twisting unit. So the spinning, it is incorporated. The spinning speed itself, it is creating some amount of stretch on the filaments. Understand? In case of highly oriented yarns and for partially oriented yarns, okay, where this drawing is combined in the spinning, that is integrated in the spinning. In case of low oriented yarns, it needs a separate draw twisting unit, so to impart the required draw ratio in the filaments. Understand? So this is all about the drawing. Okay. Now, so coming to this drawing behavior of thermoplastic polymers. That means, what do you understand from this? So we have the thermoplastic polymers, for example polyester, nylon and polypropylene. Okay, so if you subjected these filaments to this drawing process, how it will behave? That means what kind of changes in its properties you can expect. What kind of changes in the properties so we can expect. So that is what our topic now, that is drawing behavior of thermoplastic polymers. So if you subject this thermoplastic polymers to drawing process, so how it will behave. Understand? So drawing is nothing but what? You are stretching in the sense you are applying some stress on the filaments. Understand? Now, so in this, first we will say this, the nature of load extension behavior. That means, so where as I told you already, drawing is nothing but we are applying some load on the filaments. We are applying some load on the filaments, accordingly where the filament will extend. Okay, so by studying the load extension behavior of the thermoplastic polymers, so what happens if you apply some load on the filaments, so how it will behave, that is what is that extension behavior is. Okay, so if you take the undrawn polymer, it can be extended to its several times its original length. It can be extended to several times its original length when a suitable stretching force is applied. When a suitable stretching force is applied, these undrawn filaments can be extended to its several times on its original length. So this high extension is, however, it is not elastic. That means if you remove that loader, where the filament will not come to its original state, and it is recoverable. It is not elastic and recoverable. That means it won't recover, but irrecoverable and inelastic. Understand? So whatever the load you are applying, you are stretching it than several times than its original length, where you are applying a suitable, that is stretching force. Understand? So after applying suitable stretching force, whatever that extension and which is there in the filament, okay, so which is not recoverable and which is not elastic, that means it will not come to its original state. Understand? So the stretched polymer doesn't return to its original length when the stretching force is removed. When the stretching force is removed. This is in case of undrawn filaments. Okay, so now you can see here. So where you can easily understand. So what is that load extension behavior of an undrawn fiber at room temperature? For example, if you take nylon. Understand? So nylon is drawn at more or less in room temperature only. Okay, if you look at this image carefully, where in the y-axis we have load and the x-axis we have extension. So depending upon the amount of load we are applying, where the filament also it tries to extend. The filament also it tries to extend. Okay, so that extension under load of this undrawn filament has been divided into 3 different regions here. So if you carefully observe the first region, where so depending upon the applied load, where the filament also it is linearly it is extending. That is depending upon the applied load, where the filament is extending linearly up to certain point. Okay, so this region is called as, that is the first region where the load extension relationship is approximately linear and the deformation is more or less reversible if the load reaches at a maximum and falls slightly. That means now whatever this linear relationship is there, or whatever this deformation is there, more or less reversible. That means at the maximum point B you can see there. Okay, if you remove just the load which you have applied, that is slightly it falls, where the filament again it come to its original state. That means the extension is recoverable. Understand? Now the extension at which the maximum occurs is called as yield strain. That is up to the point where, up to what point if you just remove the load, where the filament again it comes to its original length, that point only we are calling it as maximum, is called as yield strain, and the corresponding stress value is called as yield stress. What is stress? This is nothing but force applied in a given unit area. Okay, so following the yield stress, the fiber deforms plastically under constant load conditions. So till now we have seen about the region 1, which is a reversible one. The deformation is reversible. If you are removing the load, the filament again it come back to its original state. But when it comes to the region 2, so where if you say for example where the maximum yield stress or yield strain is reached, so now we are not increasing the load, we are making the load constant, where the filament attains this region 2, that is it crosses the region 2, where the fiber deforms plastically under constant load conditions. In this region where the cold drawing takes place, that means the sample first yields with the appearance of a neck. You can observe here clearly, where at the point of B, where you can see a form of neck. Understand? So if you are maintaining the constant load, what will happen? First it yields in the form of a neck, and thereafter the neck propagates. Thereafter the neck, you can see the neck, and then the neck propagates. Understand? Neck propagates through the sample. And now whatever this deformation, necking and then this neck propagation and these deformations and all, which is not recoverable. That means at this stage, if you just remove the load, entire load on the filament, where the filament will not come to its original state. So why? Because it has plastically it has deformed. Understand? So this is about the region 2. And when it comes to region 3, that is the third region, where you are just slightly increasing the strain, that is you are slightly increasing the load on the filament, where what will happen? The final breaking point is approached and the stress raises sharply. Stress raises sharply with a small increment of load or small increment of strain, so signifying strain hardening before the catastrophic failure occurs. So if you look at the first, second and third regions, where if you look at the A, in the first region you can observe the A. So what is, so that represents the whatever the symbol of that A, whatever the diagram is, a small diagram which indicates the letter A, so it shows the normal filament. So when the same filament, if you start applying the load and when it comes to a point B, that is where the necking is taking place, where a necking is taking place, that means before that necking, so if you just remove the load, again the filament comes to the same as A. But once the necking starts, you can observe how the B looks like, where there is some deformation occurs. At this point, if you remove the load, the filament will not come to its original state. And now once the necking is propagating, you can see, you can observe in the second region C, how the C looks like, where in between you can see where it is, the filament is, it is stretching or it is propagating, the stretch is propagating. And finally if you look at the D, symbol of D in the region 3, how it is. Now if you compare the A and D with each other, so where, so maximum strain has been reached, so maximum load we have applied, where the finally the filament is going to break. That is whatever the changes, maximum changes, that is deformation occur, maximum deformation occur in the filament, maximum deformations occur in the filament. And finally, even though if you increase the strain at a minimum level or small increment, the filament is going to break. Understand? So this A in this load extension curve, you can see the A, B, C, D. So where you can observe the deformations and all. In the B, in the center point, you can see the deformation, that is the black spot is there. And you can observe the C, that black thing has been extended. When it comes to the maximum deformation is there. So finally the filament is going to break. So this is what the load extension behavior of a thermoplastic polymer. Understand? So here you are applying some load. So drawing is also the similar kind of phenomenon, is it right? So here in the previous slide I told you about the necking or deformation behavior. So this is the necking behavior. So after the maximum yield strain or yield stress, if you maintain the load at a constant rate, so what happened is, first the filament yields with the appearance of neck. You can observe that, that is the B. And the neck propagates. The neck, the appearance of neck, and thereafter the neck propagates through the sample. Understand? So now here the deformation is not recoverable. So understand? So this is the necking behavior of thermoplastic polymer. So hope you understand this. Okay. Now, so again the same thing just now I explained you. Okay. Now, so in the last topic in this second unit is influence of drawing on structure and property. So how this drawing will influences the structure and properties of the filament. Okay, so drawing or orientation stretching, so both are same, don't get confused. Orientation stretching and drawing both are same, is one of the basic methods of increasing the strength of polymeric fibers and films. Now you can see an evidence here from the table. So where the properties of nylon 6 yarn, where you can see the table at increasing draw ratios from 1:3.2, 1:3.5, 1:3.9 and 1:4.2. Now you can see the tenacity, which indicates the strength of a polymer. So what is happening to the tenacity? So initially it is 4.8, and when you increase the draw ratio up to 1:4.2, where the tenacity increased to 6.5. That means what? Increasing the draw ratio will result in increasing the strength of the filament up to certain extent. Now you see the denier. What happens to the denier? Since you are stretching your filament, obviously the count or the diameter is going to decreases. That is why it is initially it is 17.5 and at the end it is 13.5. And when it is coming to breaking elongation, since you are doing stretching where at 1:3.2, that is in the beginning the breaking elongation is 62%. That is elongation at which the filament will break. But when you increase draw ratios where the breaking elongation is reduces. And when it comes to elastic modulus, that is nothing but stiffness, where the stiffness is increasing. So these are some of the properties of filament that has been affected during this drawing process. Okay, now here also you can see how this draw ratio, it will influences the crystalline percentage and then amorphous layer thickness. So here you can see the draw ratios in x-axis, and here we have two y-axis. That is, one is crystalline percentage and second one is amorphous layer thickness. And by looking at the arrow marks in the graph, so the arrow mark which is showing towards the crystallinity percentage. First, if you observe this arrow mark, that is the dark line in the graph, so which shows the effect of draw ratio on crystallinity percentage. Now what is happening here? So with increase in the draw ratios from 1 to 2, okay, where what is happening? There is a slight increase in the crystalline percentage, but after that you can see where there is a drop, drop in the or significant decrease in the crystalline percentage. At the same time, if you look at this amorphous layer thickness, which is indicated with the dotted lines, where however it continues to rise, though at a reduced rate. Understand? So if you are increasing the draw ratio, where the crystalline percentage will increase up to draw ratio 2. So this is one of the research studies of done on polypropylene yarn. Okay, so after 2 draw ratio, if you increase, now what is happening? Where the crystallinity is reducing and at the same time amorphous layer thickness is increasing at a reduced rate. Understand? So this is the effect of draw ratio on percent crystallinity and amorphous layer thickness. And whatever this drawing we are doing, the fiber changes in the appearance after drawing. So initially it is dull and opaque, that is it is not luster, and after doing this drawing where the filament acquires the transparency and then luster, and the closely the molecules pack together and the greater is the strength, and finally where whatever the yarns which we are producing, it can be used in n number of applications. Okay, so the increase in the strength is accompanied by decrease in the amount of elongation. So that means elongation is going to be reduces. And because the closely packed molecules no longer have great freedom of movement. Suppose if you have closely packed the molecules, so where the elongation will come, and a high degree of orientation also tend to increase the fiber stiffness and rigidity. Okay. So, and because of this compact structure you are getting after this drawing process, which makes the fiber or polymer or a filament resistance towards most of the chemical attack. Understand? So this is all about the drawing behavior of thermoplastic polymers. Understand? So in this presentation we have discussed in detail about the drawing process, the drawing of melt spun filaments. Understand? So what is drawing and what are the importance of drawing, how spinning speeds are influences on drawing of filaments. Understand? And we have seen what is the drawing behavior of thermoplastic polymers. There we have discussed about what is this load extension behavior of the undrawn filaments, load extension behavior. So what will happen, or how the thermoplastic polymers are behaving when certain amount of load is applied. We have seen three different regions. That is, the graph, if you look at the graph, it has been divided into three different regions. Each and every region corresponds to the changes in the filament, the behavior of the filament whenever we are applying some load. And then there itself we have seen the necking behavior of polymers, that is the deformation behavior of polymers, and finally influence of drawing on structure and properties of filaments. Understand? So this is all about the drawing phenomenon or drawing of melt spun filaments, the importance and the procedure, that is by using draw, twisting unit, how to impart the drawing and followed by twisting. Understand? So hope you understand the class. Okay, so again we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.